Hi, my name's Steve Rose, and I'm at the listening post at Totally Guitars, and I'd like to talk about one of my favorite surf bands, the Mermen. The Mermen were formed in 1989 in San Francisco, and they're part of what's known as the third wave of surf music. The first being the Dick Dale type instrumentals from the late 50s, early 60s. The second wave being the vocal groups like the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, along came the third wave. Some people associate the third wave with the Quentin Tarantino film Pulp Fiction because he included a couple of Dick Dale's songs in the soundtrack. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Pulp Fiction came out in 1994. The Mermen formed in 1989. So the third wave of surf music preceded Pulp Fiction from a few years. But you'll hear that Quentin Tarantino and Pulp Fiction had something to do with the surf rock revival that's going on right now. I really like the Mermen though. There's a lot of third wave groups. John and the Night Riders, Polo Del Mar, Slacktone. There's a group from Croatia I like a lot called the Bambi Molesters. There's a really good group from Japan called the Surf Coasters. But the Mermen, they're really neat. The band's name comes from a Jimi Hendrix song called 1983, A Merman I Will Be. And they kind of play what surf music would sound like if Jimi Hendrix was a surf guitarist. A lot of psychedelics, a lot of distortion, but at the same time they'll throw in a lot of really pretty ballads. You know, just like Jimi Hendrix would do something like Little Wing or The Wind Cries Mary. Every Merman album's bound to have one or two ballads along that nature. Their first album came out in 1989, and it was actually a DIY, do-it-yourself. It's called Krill Slipping. All the compositions are by the lead guitarist Jim Thomas. It's a really nice album because it's a little bit primitive, not quite as polished as some of their later stuff, a little bit slowed down tempo, but at the same time, if you're a fledgling guitarist like myself, it's a good album to listen to because you can actually hear what they're doing. It's kind of played at a speed you can follow, and it's got some nice music on it. It's got Ocean Beach, one of their signature tunes that they actually did again on their second album, Food for Other Fish. It's got a really nice ballad called Sand that I like a lot. It's got a couple of upbeat tunes, Splashing with the Mermaid, and the last track, The Goodbye. They use a little bit of chorus with the reverb to fatten up the sound, and in some of the later albums, you know, they start stretching out a little bit, and you know, they get a little more distortion, a little more psychedelics. Glorious Lethal Euphoria came out in 1995. Songs of the Cows came out in 1996. The Amazing California Health and Happiness Roadshow came out in 2000, and those are all much more progressive albums. Songs of the Cows, I just saw the Mermen a few weeks ago over at Moe's Alley in Santa Cruz, and they opened up their second set with a song called The Curve, which is also the first song on Songs of the Cows, and boy, what a powerful song that was. And I actually got to talk to Jim Thomas, the lead guitarist for the Mermen. Totally down-to-earth guy, just hanging out in the lobby before the show, chatting with people. And I asked him what he thought. Some people think there's a fourth wave of surf music, and I asked him what he thought about that, and he didn't think it had arrived yet. He thought somebody would really have to break down the walls and do something that hasn't been done yet before you could call it fourth wave, but he was totally comfortable being in the third wave of surf music. Great show. I highly recommend that you see the Mermen. They're you know, San Francisco, Northern California band. I don't know how often they go on the road, but if you ever get the opportunity, jump at it. The Mermen's last album's really nice. It's a bit of a departure for them, a little bit of a left turn. It's called In God We Trust. And whereas all their earlier albums were basically Jimi Hendrix plays surf guitar, In God We Trust is more like Pink Floyd going to the beach. It reminds me a lot of side 2 of the Metal album, and it's very spacey and trippy and atmospheric, and real nice driving music, real nice background music. Not so much the overdrive and you know, rock and roll that a lot of their other albums have on it. The most traditional surf song is the last track, Last Forever. I actually filmed that when I saw him over at Moe's Alley and posted it to YouTube. So if anybody's interested in going online, they can get a closer look at the band and find out what they're all about. Anyway, thank you for listening. My name is Steve Rose, and I'm signing off from the listening post at Totally Guitars.